don't want a black man to raise his son. If you wanted to raise your son the right way, you should have done it the right way from the beginning. Tanisha Gibson, Tadrika Gibson.
Yeah.
All right, so Ms. Gibson, you're before the court on case 2021 CR 05972 for speeding 35 plus miles an hour over the limit. You're on case 2022 CR 06344 for count 1, battery, family violence, count 2, battery, count 3, simple battery, family violence, count 4, simple battery, and count 5, simple battery, family violence. You're on case 2022 CR 06345 for count 1, driving on a suspended or revoked license, count 2, no license, count 3, suspended registration, count 4, no tag, expired or invalid tag, count 5, speeding 26 to 30 miles per hour over, and count 6, child restraint violation. And Ms. Gibson, I'm gonna just tell you, you should have had your bond revoked after the second case. You should be back in jail now, because one of the provisions of bond is to not get new charges. So somehow you escaped that, but I would have done a bond revocation if I was aware of it. All right, so it doesn't appear that you have an attorney, but I'm gonna tell you each one of these charges carries 12 months to serve, and I could run them consecutively, meaning you could get more than 12 months to serve. Do you wish to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
All right, Mr. White, Ms. Hahn, which one of you is taking on Ms. Gibson?
I'll take it, Your Honor.
Right. So Ms. Gibson, at the appropriate time, I'll put you in a breakout room with Mr. White, and he'll speak to you about your charges.
All righty.
All right. All right. So next,
Your Honor. Ma'am.
Yes, Ms. Gibson.
Can I go, if I go ahead, can I just go ahead and plead to my case instead of waiting on the lawyer?
No, Ms. Gibson, that would make no sense. First of all, you're looking at multiple years. So if you want to spend 4 or 5 years in jail, that's up to you, but I don't think it's recommended to do that without the advice of an attorney. So I don't know what you got that is holding you up so fast that you're going to trade years of your life because you got to do something right now.
No, ma'am, I'm just at work.
Okay. Well, you knew you had court today. If you needed to take the day off, you should have done that. I'm making it easy for everybody by doing it by video, but if you need to exchange some personal time for what you're about to do, that's on you. But that's adult thinking. So you still thinking about like the person who got these 3 cases. Adult thinking would have been, do I need to take the day off or use some personal time? Because I'm gonna have to handle my business. Now, like I said, on the table is multiple years. So you want to trade that for the next 5 minutes of your job?
No.
All right. So I suggest if you need to go talk to your manager and tell them that you got something going on and you need to take some personal time, I suggest you do that, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Oh, I'm gonna need these people to grow up. And I've said that out loud purposefully. Mr. White, you have an announcement?
Your Honor, I have announcements in Ms. Gibson's cases.
Yes.
So, Your Honor, for the case, I'm sorry. For the case ending in 5972, the solo speeding case, that's going to be a NOLO plea.
All right.
For the case ending in 6344, that's going to be a guilty plea to count 1 and 5. And for the case ending in 6345, that's going to be a NOLO plea to count 1, count 4, count 5, and count 6, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Gibson, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Ms. Gibson, you're before the court on 3 separate cases represented by Mr. Justin White on each of those cases. The first case is 2021 CR 05972, Tadrika Riajanesia Gibson, speeding 35 plus miles an hour You're entering a plea of nolo on the case 2022 CR 06344 for count 1 battery, count 2 count 1 battery family violence, count 2 battery, count 3 simple battery family violence, count 4 simple battery, and count 5 simple battery. You're entering a plea of guilty. Did I lose my? No, guilty to counts 1 and 5. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge by entering a plea on the case 2022 CR 06345. Driving on a suspended or revoked license, no license, suspended registration, no tag, expired or valid tag, speeding 26 to 30 miles per hour over the limit, and child restraint violation. You're entering a plea of nolo to counts 1, 4, 5, and 6. Counts 2 and 3 will not be no pros. By entering these pleas, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Ms. Gibson?
Yes.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On May 1st of 2021, while on duty of Highway 75 on Old Dixie Road, an officer observed a motor vehicle determined to be operated by the defendant, Ms. Gibson, traveling at 98 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. The officer initiated a traffic stop, made contact with the defendant. The state is recommending a 12-month probation, a $500 fine, driver improvement course, 20 hours of community service, and the probation may terminate upon completion.
Okay.
For the case ending in 06344, on October 30th of 2021, an officer was dispatched to 8378 Carrington Lane, Carlington, Carlington Lane in Jonesboro, Georgia, where the incident occurred in Clayton County. So in reference to a domestic disturbance. Upon the officer's arrival, it made contact with the victim, Mr. Michael Bryant, who advised that he was in a physical altercation with his live-in girlfriend and the mother of his child, the defendant, Ms. Gibson. He advised that she threw a can of strawberry Rita at him, which missed. Then she threw the child's toy at him, a bowl, a spoon, and a fork as he walked down the stairs, and that she swung on him and scratched him on the side of his face. And the officer observed the injuries. The state is recommending for count 1, 12 months to serve 2 days. A weekend is okay. The balance to be probated, a $500 fine, 50 hours of community service, family violence intervention program, and no contact with the victim, Mr. Michael Bryant. Count 2, 3, and 4 would merge. Count 5 be 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1, 40 hours of community service, and no contact with the victim, Mr. Bryant.
All right, next case.
For the case ending in 063 6345. On September 25th of 2022, an officer, excuse me, was on patrol of Highway 138, where he observed Highway 138 and Autumn Forest Drive in Clayton County, where the incident occurred. He observed a motor vehicle that was being later determined to be operated by the defendant, Ms. Gibson, traveling at a high rate of speed, and through radar detection determined that it was 75 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. The officer initiated a traffic stop and made contact with the driver of the vehicle and determined, actually, when the vehicle stopped, Ms. Gibson jumped out of the vehicle.
And left her baby in the car?
No, I didn't do that.
You grabbed the baby when you ran?
My kids actually got out of the car. We were at the gas station.
Oh, so y'all was all fugitives.
No, when I pulled into the gas station instead of on the side of the road.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Jean-Pierre.
All right, it was determined that the defendant did not have a valid driver's license, nor was the vehicle that she was operating have valid registration. Additionally, the officer observed that the 3 children that were in the back seat were not properly secured in the car seat. The 2-year-old was sitting in the 2-year-old was sitting in the car seat, but was not strapped in.
How old are the other children? Do we know?
10 and 7.
So all 3 of them should have been in some form of restraint in the back seat.
They were in the back seat. It was the 2-year-old.
Miss Gibson, it's not going to help you to keep popping off because by law, until your child is 85 pounds, they're supposed to be in a child restraint booster seat in the back seat and strapped in. So you had a 10 and a 7. I'm sure neither one of them were 85 pounds. So you just keep popping off, but you're not making your situation better because you're still wrong as 2 left shoes. So just be quiet. I'm going to acknowledge that you was just going through something during that period of time. Because like I said, your bond should have been revoked after the second case. But let's just say you was going through something. Don't erase that from my mind by keeping popping off, because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Go ahead, Ms. Jean-Pierre.
Yes, right. So she was taken into custody, and I think her children were left with their mothers. The state is recommending for count 1, 12 months to serve 2 days, the balance to be probated, a $500 fine. Count 2 to be no pros. Count 3 to be no pros. Count 4 to be a $100 fine, and count 5, 12 months probation, $300 fine. What's that? Driver improvement course, but probably necessary. It can terminate upon completion, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry, and $50 for count 6.
Mr. White, I'm sure you have something to tell me about Miss Gibson and her circumstances at the time of these 3 interesting cases.
No, Your Honor. We just ask that you accept the negotiated plea.
All right, let me do a little figuring here. All right, so let's talk. So, ma'am, on the case 2021 CR 05972, where you were going 98 miles per hour in a 65, I'm going to accept your plea of NOLO. I'll send you to pay a fine in the amount of $500. That's going to be $737.50 with the surcharges. You're also to take a driver improvement course. You'll find that course on the website for the Georgia Department of Driver Services. Don't just Google. You're going to go to the actual state agency that issues your license. You're going to go to their website. They have a pull down menu. Choose one of those courses in a county that's convenient to you. As long as it's approved by Georgia Department of Driver Services, that's one that we will accept. So don't waste your money and your time by getting something that the court will not accept. All right, you're going to do 20 hours of community service, and you're going, once you have completed those things, your community service and your probation, once you've completed the community service, the payment, and the driver improvement course, your probation will terminate on that case. All right. On the case 2022 CR 06344, you're entering a plea of guilty on counts 1 and 5. On count 1, it's 12 months to serve 2 days. Those 2 days can be served on a weekend.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I do apologize. I just saw this message, but the victim, Mr. Bryant, I believe is on and wanted to make. Was that this case?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
this case. Raise
Okay.
your right hand, Mr. Bryant. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Go ahead, sir. Tell me what you want me to know.
Well, she's my child's mother, and I would have to have some form of contact with
No, you
her
wouldn't,
to.
sir. Let me disabuse you of that. If y'all haven't had these children in marriage, or if you weren't married soon after the birth of the children, and if you haven't gone to Superior Court and legitimized the children, no, you do not in fact have to have contact. The only contact you're required to have under those circumstances is you can pay child support. You can send it through child support enforcement, or you can send it child support money only, no contact, no talking, no baby I love you, none of that stuff, through the mail at the home where the children reside. So no, sir, you do not have to have contact. But go ahead, continue.
Well, being a black man and raising a black son, I would.
Well, being
I
a
don't
black
wanna be-
man raising a black son, you should have married the mother, or you should go to
Well,
court
I
and get the
understand that,
child,
Your Honor, but
get the child to be legally yours. So until such time as that child is legally yours, biological, I don't care about. Until the child is legally yours, I don't have to consider any of this.
So you would rather see young black men steady grow up with fathers?
No, what I would rather see is young black men do it the right way. Either have a
Yes, I
good
understand.
relationship with the mama and
Right.
marry the mama
Right.
and be in the home and
Yeah.
take care of their children,
Yeah.
or go be legally bound to their children through the courts if they can't live with the mama, and make sure that if something should happen to them, then their children are taken care of and provided for under whatever is legally available to them, because their parent did the right
90% of
thing. So
America
what you're not
doesn't
gonna do,
black,
sir,
white, or color.
what you're not gonna do is come in here telling me about what a black man needs to be. I've been black a long time, so I know I'm older than you and your baby mama. Probably put your ages together, I'm that age. So let me tell you something. When you want to do something the right way, do it the right way. But what you're not going to do is play on my sympathy, talk about you don't want a black man to raise his son. If you wanted to raise your son the right way, you should have done it the right way from the beginning. You out here having 3 kids with this woman, and then y'all can't even get along enough to raise the child. So what you ain't going to do, sir, is bring that foolishness to me. Now, are you done talking?
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else you need to say to me about what I need to do when you didn't do what you were supposed to do to legitimize your children? Anything else you need to say to me about my responsibilities to your children? Anything else? What you need to do is help her pay some of this money when she was wilding out, because probably you had something to do with some of that she was going
Yes,
through.
ma'am. Thank you.
So you might want to scrape together the money to help her take care of your black son. Don't take me there, sir, because I advocate every single day for men to be good fathers. And you gonna tell me you ain't done nothing you supposed to do, but you gonna tell me I got a responsibility to your children? No, sir, I do not. I got a responsibility to the law. And you talking and I can't hear none of it because you muted.
Ma'am, can you ignore him, ma'am? Please.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be more than happy to do that. I'll be more than happy to do that. So back to where I was. So on the 12 months to serve 2 days, You can serve it on a weekend. Balance will be probated to pay $500. That's $737.50 with the surcharges. And the 50 hours of community service, you're to take a family violence intervention program, and you're to have no contact with Michael Bryant. And Mr. Michael Bryant is not you are the legal parent of the children. So if you do not want Mr. Bryant to have contact with his children, that's up to you. But he can't have any contact with you.
Yes, ma'am. I have one question about the 2 weekends, because I don't know if I went in jail for it or not, but I still have to serve the 2 days.
Yes, ma'am. But you can serve it on a weekend,
When
or
can I do?
hold on now. It can be a non-traditional weekend. Like if you work Saturdays and Sundays, we can do a Monday and a Tuesday, or Wednesday and a Thursday. And I will give you a week or so to report. So I'm not gonna make you do it right tomorrow. We're gonna talk about that, okay?
I work Monday through Friday, so I can do the weekend.
Okay, so I'll tell you how that's gonna work in a minute. All right, so on count 5 in the case ending in 06344, that's 12 months probation to run concurrent. That means the run at the same time as 40 hours of community service and no contact with Mr. Michael Bryant. He can send payments through child support enforcement. So if you want to set up a child support enforcement case, and he can send payments through that, you can do that. And that way you can receive money for your children. On the case ending in 06345, you're entering a plea of nolo to count 1. That's 12 months to serve 2 days, balance probated to and to pay a fine in the amount of $500. So that will run concurrent with the case 2022 CR 06344. So that means you're only going to have to serve 2 days. Okay. You're going to do all of these at the same time. So if it says 2 days, the same 2 days are going to take place for all of these. You get me?
And I just go in and I'm coming out in 2 days.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll explain that in a minute. So that on that case, it'll be 12 months. I'm sorry, the next part of that, part 5, is 12 months probation, 40 hours of community service. And that's the no contact again with Mr. Michael Bryant. Now, on the case ending in 06345, you're entering the nolo plea. That's 12 months to serve 2 days. That's going to run concurrent with the case ending in 06344. So you'll serve those 2 days at the same time. You're only going to do the 2 days. Balance will be probated for you to pay another fine in the amount of $500. So that's separate. On counts 2 and 3, those will be no prost. Count 4 is a nolo plea, and that's going to be a $100 fine, which is $151.50 with the surcharges. Count 5 is 12 months probation to pay a fine in the amount of $300. That'll be $444. And you'll also do a driver improvement course, but that'll run concurrent with the case ending in 05972. So all you'll have to do is one driver improvement course, okay? You'll have to pay the separate fines, but one driver improvement course will cover both of those. And then on
$2,000 worth of fines.
I'm sorry.
That's like $2,000 worth of fines.
Hold on, we're getting it. Yeah, it's about that. Hold on. So on the case ending in 06345, count 6 is a $50 fine. That's going to be $83.25. So let me see if 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. So the other option, Miss Gibson, is we could run one of these consecutive, and that means you would have 12 months, and then you would get an additional 12 months at the end of that if you were still paying off fines and fees. And that way you wouldn't have to try and pay all of this within the first 12 months. And so let me tell you how much it's going to be with the surcharges. So what I calculate, is it's $2,891.25 with the surcharges. Now you got kids and you're working. If we want to do a consecutive, which means you'll still have more, you'll have 24 months to pay all of that as opposed to 12 months. If that would help you, I can do it that way.
I'd rather do the 12 because I'm just try to pay it out at one time.
Okay.
Now,
All
what
right.
happens if I pay it out at one time? I still be on probation?
Yes, ma'am, because you still got other stuff to do. You still got a family violence intervention program course to take. That's 24 weeks. You still got community service. Your community service adds up to 110 hours of community service is what I got.
Okay.
So money wise, it's going to be, like I said, $2,891.25. Community service wise, it's going to be $110. You're also going to have to take a family violence intervention course, so that costs money. You're also going to have to do the driver improvement course. That costs money.
Okay.
But what I will do is, I guess to give you some relief, I'll waive the supervision fees for the first 6 months of your probation.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. And now let's talk about the case. So the jail. So you work Monday through Friday. What you would do is you would turn yourself in on Friday evening between 6 and 7 p.m. You got to do it between those hours because that's the only time they do intake. You would be here at the Clayton County Jail. And then you would get out the following Sunday between 6 and 7. And so then you would have served your 2 days. So it's up to you when you want to start that. I can give you 1 to 2 weeks to get because you got kids. I can give you 1 to 2 weeks to get
I gotta situate to get somebody to watch them all weekend.
I got you. So I'm looking at your calendar, my calendar, which 1 second. So today is the 4th.
January 26th, or that's too far?
Hold on, let me see. Okay, January 26th is not outside the realm of possibility. That'll give the jail some time to process whatever's coming in over the holidays, and then you can turn yourself in on January 26th at between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. So let's say 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then you'll get out on that following Sunday at 6 p.m.
All righty.
All right. Now, Ms. Gibson, now we back on track. I understand. Like I said, there's sometimes when people go through some things. You got me? But you see the consequences of, you can't ride fast with your babies in the car. That's just, I mean, you might have been leaving a situation, but you always got to make sure your babies are safe. That's your primary job as their mom. You get me?
Yes.
They didn't ask to be here, but when we bring them here, it's our responsibility to make sure they are safe.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I see you working. I see you trying to do. So I'm trying to give you as much of a, consideration as I can.
Yes.
But let's just be the last time we meet like this. Okay.
It will. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael is going to do your intake for probation, and he's going to explain everything that you need to know about probation. This is what I stress. Probation officers here are amazing, and they will do the best that they possibly can to help you successfully complete. If you work with them, they'll work with you. And they sometimes will come on, on your behalf and ask, okay, well, she can't do this, but can she do that? Can we do this instead of that? They will advocate for you if you are upfront with them, okay? If you have any issues, please bring that to their attention. Don't just let it go like, I couldn't do such a, no, let your probation officer know. And the quickest way to get rearrested and to mess up on probation is to miss a probation report, okay? If you got something going on, you tell them ahead of time. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. I appreciate you doing better. I realized, because the things were so tight in the same time period, I realized that you were going through something. So let's go ahead and put you in the breakout room with Mr. Carmichael, and let's see if we can't get you on the road to straight, as my grandmother would say.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, hold on. Once you go into Mr. Carmichael's breakout room, you do not have to come back here.
Okay.
All right.